We do not have a flag in here. Yeah, I don't know if the picture. Okay, well, let's we'll call the meeting to order of the Porterville Area Development Authority. The date is November 9th, 2022. The time is 3:10 p.m. Okay, go ahead and take roll call.
Sorry, I have like none of my stuff up there. City ex officio member John Wallace, city member Milkstowe.
Here.
Tribe ex officio member Neil Perron.
Here.
We have city member Don Wyrock.
Here.
And President Santos.
Here. Vice President.
Vice President Santos, I'm sorry.
President Jose. Is that the President President? Okay. Okay. We'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody, please stand in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving right along, we'll go on to oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the Porterville Area Development Authority on any scheduled matter unless additional time is authorized. All commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual and no more than 15 minutes total. Do we have anybody that wants to address the PATA board? Hearing none, we'll go on to scheduled matters. We're on item number 1, resolution adopting procedures consistent with AB 361 and Ralph M. Brown Act. And a motion to adopt the procedures.
This is your ongoing item concerning the ability to hold teleconference meetings. So you will, just as a heads up, there is a little bit of an expiration date with regard to us being able to follow this process. The governor did indicate that he's going to end the emergency for the COVID emergency towards the end of February. So, but up until that point, we're still able to utilize this, and we are seeing increases in other viruses and not just COVID right now. So I think it's probably a good idea to keep this resolution in place that allows you to hold the teleconference and audio conference meetings. With that, I recommend you guys approve it.
It allows members still to participate in votes today.
Okay, do we need a motion to approve that today, or we're good? I don't know, we need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the procedure, adopting procedures consistent with AB 361.
A motion by Dan Wyrock to adopt the procedures. Do we have a second? No, you want to second that motion?
I will second. I didn't hear it, but I will second it.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Wyrock, second by Milkstowe, to adopt the procedures consistent with AB 361 All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? That would be 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Item number 2, the organization of board officers. Consideration of the authority to appoint new board officers. Tom, you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
read this right here?
Certainly, I can speak to this. So there are 3 offices of the PATA board of its voting members. There is currently, with the resignation of Councilmember Reyes from the city of Porterville, created a vacancy as the president. And so City of Porterville is newly appointed Councilmember Wyrock to take that place on the city as city representative, the city member. However, there remains a vacancy as the president, and so the recommendation to for the body to select a new president. And then and again, right now there's not a vacancy in vice president or secretary, but you do have a vacancy, and so in part of reorganization would be that the body consider who would be its president. And then any other corresponding officers should there be.
Okay. Does anybody have any recommendations? Or nominations? Would we have to seat Mr. Wyrock first, or?
Yeah, he is seated by the city as
Okay.
a representative. This would be a matter of this body now determining who were its officers.
How would everybody wish to proceed?
Well, I'd like to make a motion, Gary, that, for your honor, that you take the position of president of the board.
Since that's made in the form of a motion, unless there are any other nominations, that can be seconded and voted on if you guys would like.
I will second it.
Okay, I got a motion by Mr. Wyrock, second by Mr. Stowe to approve myself as the president of the PATA board. All in favor? Do I vote on this or no?
Would you like me to poll I know we've got board members that are not physically there, so I can poll the board if you'd like for clarity.
Sure, that would be good.
Sure. Board member Stowe,
Aye.
board member Santos,
Aye.
board member Wyrock,
Aye.
and then do we have any other board members present that I'm not aware of?
No,
I can't. Okay. Motion passes 4-0.
great. 3-0, Julie.
Oh, sorry, 3-0. I can't count today. 3-0.
I don't like to help Fernando.
Yeah, thank you.
So that, with that, then would be nominations for vice president.
And respectfully, that would be somebody from the city, right? I think that's the way.
Yeah,
It's
that-
entirely up to the board, but I think that's a good idea, but that's up to the board.
That's how we had it set up last time,
Mhm.
so. With that, I would nominate Mr. Stowe, being he's the senior city board member at this time.
I'll second that.
This is a point of order. I hate to say it that way. Mr. Stowe's term on count, it doesn't have to correspond with a member of council that his term is concluding in December. But that isn't just as a, like I said, so it's fine. He could continue to be at the city's representative, even if he's not on council, just as Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay,
Mr. Stowe, are you willing to continue in your role?
You know, probably one of the new council members might want to do that, so I will yield to them. If they're not willing, then I will be available.
I figured that much, Mr. Stowe, so, I will withdraw my motion and motion Mr. Wyrock. Out of respect for Mr. Stowe's, decline.
Is there a second?
You know, Julie, can you repeat that? I'm having a hard time understanding what is muffled.
Oh, no problem. I believe that that board member Santos, or actually President Santos now, just made a motion to appoint Don Wyrock as the vice president.
Oh, I will second.
You guys have any discussion on that? Further discussion before voting? If not, I can poll the board members if you would like.
Please pull the board.
Okay, President Santos,
Aye.
board member Stowe,
Aye.
board member Wyrock.
Aye.
That passes 3-0.
Moving on to the secretary position.
If you're not at the meeting.
I will nominate, Shane Neal, vice chairman of the Toulouse tribe.
I would say disregard, I don't know that you need to do that. He's already the secretary, so
He is?
unless there, yes,
Yes.
so unless there's any necessary changes, he would continue that.
Oh, that's right. We'll just leave it the same then, so we're good. All right. Well, with that being done, moving on to item number 3, approval of draft minutes of July 15th, 2022. Has everybody had a chance to go over the minutes? Or does John want to read them to us?
Read by title only?
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of July 15th, 2022, or is there any corrections?
I'll move that we adopt the minutes from the last board meeting. March 18th, 2022.
July 15th?
July 15th, 2022. Thank you. Very proud, yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, I think.
A motion by Mr. Wyrock, second by Mr. Stowe to approve oh wait, you guys we poll
Yeah, we need to pull the board, and I apologize, Fernando, if you're there and you want to do it, that's fine. I didn't mean to like step into your shoes on doing this.
No worries. Board member Stowe,
Aye.
Vice President Wyrock,
Aye.
and President Santos.
aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Yeah, my apologies too, I was just going off of how we run our meetings and the relocation and stuff, so. Okay, moving forward. Item number 4, city reimbursement of eligible expenses and construction of the tertiary treatment water facility, wastewater facility, collection system and recycled waste infrastructure project. So, consideration of approval of the reimbursement of $2,981,616.12 in eligible expenses by the city of Porterville to the Two River Tribe for the design and construction of tertiary treatment wastewater facility project and update on construction of the project.
Yeah, so before the board this afternoon, our reimbursement, invoices, as I would describe them, for the months of June, July, August, and September. I'll ask Mr. Sanchez to provide further clarification in this. I know that June and July are completely, all paperwork is complete and on file, and I think we were very close on August and September. Is that accurate, Javier?
Yes, we do have, so the ones that can be reimbursed as is are July and August. On June, we were waiting an invoice for a membrane, which is still pending, but a revised invoice has been submitted, so we can act on that. And then, so the only remaining item will be finishing the review of payroll for September, which upon its completion, we can reimburse that one. And we'd expect that to be finish the review next week. And if there are any comments, the contractor's been good about turning those around pretty quickly.
So similar to an action the board has taken in the past is to approve up to's amount, pending full documentation being submitted. But we, as Javier mentioned, July and August is clear. And did you say I'm sorry, June and July? August, you said you're still waiting on an invoice for a membrane?
No, we received the revised invoice for June. So,
okay.
And that would clear up the last outstanding item on it. So we are clear to pay June, July, and August at this time.
Oh,
Is June, July, and August the 2.9?
No, it would be, I'd have to get the totals here.
that seems like.
Let me see, sorry about that. So June is 1.173 million, but the revised invoice subtracts out 525,000 approximately. So that would bring it down to 650,000. July is 490,000 and change. August is 653,000. And September 665,000. So
2.5.
yeah, we'd be reimbursing. That's about 1.1.
2.5.
1.7. So 1.7 has all documentation with the last 665,000 and change, just pending payroll approval.
Okay, so are you suggesting to approve the 2.981 number then?
Yeah, up to.
Okay. Do we have a motion for approval?
That's a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the details with these different payments for 6, 7, 8, and 9 for these 4 months. Looking through them, it all seems in order and well balanced. It's nice to see the savings on payment number 6 with that membrane, taking that amount due for the June payment from 1.1 million down to about $650,000. I was just curious about the scheduling. I was noticing some materials arrived on site during this period of time, and I'm assuming a lot of it got installed. And I noticed also the security that's in place. I'm thinking that even watch over the materials that haven't been installed. Some of it looks like pre-existing equipment. Might have a lot of lead time should it be stolen. So we're only paying about $4,000 a month in security. Are those materials secure, and we're good with that? There hasn't been any theft out there.
Yes, they're behind the lock gate.
Yeah, locked in. Thank you. And then the only other question that I had is, are there any outstanding perceived delays that everybody's aware of some equipment that's been ordered that's just not coming as soon as you guys had hoped?
Like switch gears and electrical panels that have been delayed.
Yeah.
Various reasons, supply chain such. They've been tracking it on time for delivery. One's coming in about a week. The other one we're not 100% certain. They're on time. There have been no further delays in getting vehicles.
Great, thank you. And then looked like there was a lot of progress in the last couple of months with some welding of some tanks.
Tanks been built.
Yeah.
They've been installing a tremendous amount of pipe. That big concrete pour over the weekend. They're making good progress.
Very nice. Mr. President, I would be happy to make a motion that could we reimburse the eligible expenses, the construction update of the tertiary treatment wastewater facility collection system recycling waste infrastructure project. That would be payment number 6, 7, 8, and 9 for approval.
Okay, take a second.
I'm sorry, Julia, can you repeat the motion? I'm getting muffled and I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it either. Can you say it again, please? The motion?
Can you hear me now? Is this?
Yeah, that's better.
Thank you. I moved the microphone. I just made a motion that item 4 of scheduled matters, the reimbursement of eligible expenses and construction update of the tertiary treatment wastewater facility collection system recyclable waste infrastructure project. Payment number 6, 7, 8, 9 be approved for payment.
Okay.
Okay, I heard that. I will second it.
Board Member Stone,
Aye.
Vice President Wyra,
Aye.
President Santos.
Aye. Okay. Is there any more on the updates that anybody wants, any more questions, or anybody need any more on the updates for the tertiary treatment wastewater facility?
I'll defer to Mr. Knight or Mr. Sanchez on that, or with our representative.
Happy to provide any additional input. Don't want to step on Hill's toes in regards to any updates. I can provide some updates to the efforts of receiving our permitting for operation. We are ongoing having discussions with the Regional Water Quality Control Board, reviewing permitting for discharge, and currently with the Clean Water folks, water boards reviewing the engineer's Title 22 report on the operation of the tertiary treatment plant. We had a schedule of 6 weeks. It's been probably 4 to 6 weeks at this point in time. We had a follow-up with Clean Water folks. They are still working on reviewing that document, providing that feedback. As a result, they provided us a timeline that was going to extend us out another 4 to 6 weeks, in which I had an additional conversation with reviewing staff, the staff engineer, and they basically were giving themselves an opportunity for additional review. However, I have been notified by the Clean Water folks there at the Regional Water Board that review is expected to be done probably in the next 2 weeks. Given the holidays coming up, they're trying to get that review out. We fully anticipate having the opportunity to address any comments that comes from them in regards to our engineer's report, and then we'll be addressing that. The expectation and hopes would be that we have all those details clarified by the beginning of December, and hopefully receiving our authorization for permit to operate.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Knight or Javier? Hearing none, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 5, review and consideration of approval of the project bid agreement of the storm drain recharge retention basin project. Review and consider of approval of the project bid agreement on the storm drain recharge retention basin project located within an existing city-owned 80-acre parcel southwest of the city of Porterville. Update on construction of the project. Want to take on that one, John?
Sure. So, similar to the process that this board took in approving the, award of contract for the tertiary treatment facility, similarly, the bidding has been done and, bids received for the improvements necessary for the storm drain recharge basin. The low bid received was from Mitchell Brown, which low bid was $7,728,826.40, which was the lowest of 3 bids that was received. The next lowest was from Tykert and Son, which was slightly over 9 million. Review of by city staff as well as by owner's representative is that the bid is adequate and responsive, and so it would be recommendation to approve the low bid to Mitchell Brown.
Mr. President, or Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Board Member Stowe,
Aye.
Vice President Wyrot,
Aye.
President Santos,
Aye.
motion passes 3-0.
And just for clarification purposes too, that the authorization that the PATA board gives is the authorization to allow the tribe to accept the bid. Since the contract is between the tribe and the contractor. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Okay, and then just a little bit on that too, I do have a letter, with the tribe's letterhead and also signed by Chairman Pro, supporting that, decision, so I know it's in everybody's packet. So. Good. Well, with that being awarded, is there any kind of a schedule or anything where we're gonna meet with Mr. Brown, and have an update, obviously on his project schedule, and so our team can get formally introduced to the contractor?
Could be to Mr. Knight, Mr. Sanchez, or,
I guess I would just confirm after this process. I think we're moving forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, Javier, we'll still need to complete the contract documents after this point, and then that should forecast us into a schedule. I know they're still wrapping up a few details on the plan set as it relates to that as well.
Right, we're working on an additional easement for the storm drain line because of its size and depth and how it affects the surrounding area. But that's looking positive. We're hoping in the next few weeks that's resolved, and it'll allow for that project to be entirely complete.
Maybe, once you guys get all your paperwork done and the contract agreement signed or something, we could invite him to the relocation meeting, and he can meet our team. And then we could also, along with you guys, meet his team, and kind of go from there. That works for everybody. There are no objections, that's what we'll do. Okay. Well, congratulations to Mr. Brown. He is a local contractor, so It works out really well. For all of our sake, for that matter. There's no more questions or comments on that, if you, we'll move on. Hearing none, item number 6, local roads improvement coordination. Discussion on the necessary coordination between the city of Porterville, Two River Tribe, and County of Tulare for local roads improvement in the vicinity of new Eagle Mountain Casino.
Yeah, and so this has kind of been an agenda or a placeholder on the agenda for conversations about that. I know that there are active discussions going on as part of the MOU discussions and looking at both near-term and intermediate and long-term road improvements. And I think there was attempts to try to secure dates for the next time for those discussions to occur. I don't think we yet have another date, do we, Julia, for the follow-up?
Not yet. So
Okay.
we need to, I know that I reached out to coordinate, but we haven't heard back. So we need to go ahead and get that done. But Carrie and I will get through it. We'll work through that and get dates circulated.
What I will say is an update that we've begun environmental for the roundabout projects and the relocation, the realignment of Raven Scranton, and then west connecting to Westwood. Met with Congressman Valadeo a couple weeks ago and presented the project to him, and we'll be pursuing an earmark should he be elected, pursuing an earmark for consideration towards that. The request would be for $3.5 million as a federal earmark towards the roads project. Has an estimated cost of about $5 million.
And that's for the surrounding areas.
For the, it would be for the roundabouts and the road, development of the road system between Westwood and West. Part of that is that we need to have environmental completed by summer of 2023. We call them community opportunity projects.
No, on the environmental or something like that, does it have to come from you guys or does it come from the tribe?
And we've initiated, it's on, we have a consultant under agreement and it's ongoing.
Okay.
We need to have a shovel-ready project, so to speak, summer of next year. Sorry.
We're very familiar with that terminology.
Jason, anything you want to add in that regard?
You did a great job on that, Mr. Lawless. Yeah, we're working with a firm on the environmental document. We're obviously pursuing a secret document as well as a NEPA document to be able to take advantage of any funding that may come around for such project. We are in the initial study now. We've had a kickoff meeting received this week. First, kind of some initial information from them about project description, things of that nature, what needs to be included in document. Staff is making comments. I received comments from a few staff already this week, and we'll be providing that information to the consultant to turn that around and continue on with the initial study. So we'll keep pushing this project forward as quickly as possible.
Anybody else have any more discussion on the local roads improvement coordination?
Just a question, John, there was, I know you spoke about the roundabout, but was there a road realignment to bring some access off of the main thoroughfare because of the acquisition of some right of way that might have been challenging? Is that included in this report?
Yes.
Is there a status update on that realignment?
And I know that those are conversations that have been happening between the Peters, am I right? The design for Peters Engineering and city staff in terms of that alignment that would avoid a very costly acquisition of a well. As where West meets Scranton. And then there is a plan for Scranton to continue to be operational while, so that we don't lose that access point off of Scranton while other work is occurring. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's still 9 months out from possible completion or a year and a half?
Well, I think there's gonna be interim, where I talk about near term and intermediate and that sort of thing. So there'll be some near term improvements at the intersection of West and Scranton that would fit in alignment of the future roundabout, but that would Scranton would still be functional and provide access from the north, I keep saying south, from the north. And then ultimately for the rest of the project to be constructed without interfering with Scranton, and ultimately for Scranton to be blocked off.
So maybe once engineering is finished and construction starts, maybe the contract is giving maybe some early completion bonuses to try to get some momentum early on to complete the project sooner rather than later. Do we ever do that as a city roads PATA?
I'm not aware of it in the city system. I don't know about the time.
I'd like to try to see,
Certainly
once it
something.
gets ready to go, if we can help them maybe mobilize any additional crews.
One of the
Hoping to beautify that part of the project even sooner.
Right.
Thank you.
Who is, actually you guys' team that does all that stuff? Is it you and, Mike Knight and Javier? And Jason?
Are you asking?
Yeah.
I don't. My dad's an engineer, but I'm not. That's his disappointment. No, that's coordination that's occurring between Javier, Mike Knight, Jason, and with the ownership. And Peter.
Okay.
Mr. Knight shared with me a preliminary design from Peters Engineering that's working on a potential interim measure that would assist in the traffic and the movement of people during the time that the roundabout would be constructed. And so it's preliminary in nature, and everybody's still working on that, but at first sight, at first review, it appears to be a great option, and would be an option that would allow to use property that's already owned by the city of Porterville to be this interim solution, which would have less impacts than some of the other options that were provided prior.
Currently on that.
And just to also add to that, at this point in time, we've been talking about this during our update meetings. It's really crucial that the MOU group get the opportunity to review these points and considerations to really get a clear focus and a clear message coming back to the PATA board. I don't want to confuse conversation with decision. Once the parties, the MOU group, make some motion on that. So we do have some progress, and I think it'll be some great opportunities to find a solution in this, and look forward to staff being able to bring it back to the PATA board for consideration.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Knight. I do recognize the time and the effort staff and consultants go through in engineering groups to get the T's crossed and the I's dotted. It's very significant, and I don't mean to rush that, but a lot of times with construction, you can incentivize early completion. That's all I was hoping to acquire with that question. Thank you.
And maybe this is a good project to be a first time. There's no assurances of federal funding, although I will tell you the congressman is very receptive. And so recognizing that it's a partnership between the city and the tribe, which would be, should he be elected to be our representative come January, he was very, very impressed, having driven by the casino and the vision of that area there and how he could be supportive. The $3.5 million I wanted is there's kind of that's a recommended request level. Requests are generally asked to be kept between 3 and 4 million apparently. So he was supportive of a community opportunity project for the county and doing farm road. So there was a $3.5 million earmark provided to the county of Tulare for farm to market roads that were identified. So similarly, this is the path that we're considering with them.
Okay. You have any more comments or questions on that item? From anybody? There are none. We'll move on to item number 7, Two River Tribe Active Transportation Plan Update. Update on the status of the Active Transportation Plan Update from the Two River Tribe by the Tulare County Association of Government.
Actually just left a meeting on that just before I came up here. So the plan is still in development. The portion dedicated to the on reservation here is complete. And there was three phases that were identified. It is still, the plan is still being developed by Four Creeks for the city, I would say the casino project, sports complex area, and how the Fairplex, or how the fair, casino project and city sports complex can, all interconnect through an ATP type thing. While that plan was going on, there was a project submitted, phase 1, for the tribe portion here on the reservation was submitted. This gets into a technicality of rural versus urban counties, which Tulare County is considered an urban county. And so the scoring thresholds are much higher than for rural counties. TCAG has actually asked for the state to consider reviewing tribes, especially in the case of those that are outside urban areas, to be considered rural, because under the scoring that was achieved for, it received a score of 82. 89 was the cutoff, I would say, for funded projects in rural counties. 80 or 79 or 80 was the cutoff for rural counties or considered rural projects, which certainly this gets into some of just how the state considers certain counties, but because we have certain population centers of certain size that were considered an urban county. So the scoring thresholds were higher. So we placed in competition with LA, and you're what we would consider to be more urbanized. So that's the bad news. The bad news is that got a good score, just wasn't high enough to be awarded in an urban county setting. Although there's a tack that's being taken out the next cycle that to consider tribal lands that meet certain criteria to be considered rural, even in urban counties. That being said, the meeting I was in was to figure out how to still make part of the project move forward, even not being awarded by the state. So I have and wanting the full packet. So wanted to provide to the really what TCAG is going to want, what Ted is going to want, is what the tribes in phase 1. If you had $2.5 million, what improvements would you wish to proceed on? So there were 3 components to phase 1, which was submitted, and these were the 2 new pedestrian bridges. 2 new pedestrian bridges, one to replace or be side by side with the swinging bridge, and then a second bridge that would connect to the Justice Center. And then there were additional improvements within the here within this area for pedestrian movements and things of that nature. So I guess, and I'm happy to leave some of these copies here. TCAG would really like, and I'm bringing this up because there's a joint project between the city and the tribe in the ATP plan. But really in this component, it really is the tribal council to determine in phase one, if you had $2.5 million, how would it be,
Where do we start kind of thing?
yeah, so as an example, just on phase one, would it be the tribe's interest to have the pedestrian bridges constructed? And then some other improvements within this area, or one bridge done and further, additional, so however, $2.5 million could be budgeted for.
I think,
And don't need an answer today, I wanted to provide that as the update.
yeah, no, that's good, because it's options, and, that would go before the chairman, and the rest of the council. Maybe we, just in my opinion, we coordinate that with what's going on with all of our other projects that are happening on the reservation right now too. But, I think we could figure out where would best suit the tribe.
So there's gonna be so the kind of the way the ATP funding works, so there's state funding. And then there's what's called MPO funding. So the state sends part of its funding. And this is where the benefit of being a urban county is because we're an urban county, there's $8 million that are coming to Tulare County for ATP projects across the county. And to help fund projects that were not funded at the state level. So there are, and this is one of the projects, given the score, it received a good score. Obviously there's not enough, well, they're looking at doing probably 2 or 3 projects across the county. This would be one that TCAG would like to do, but there will be a call for projects in December, next month, for the local monies that will close in January with award in February. But given the score that this project received, and wanting to have some real improvement, not just the plan, but actually have improvements constructed here is a priority for Ted Small.
Okay.
So Four Creeks is gonna be putting some pencil to paper on those options within the education center gymnasium. It talks about the gateway treatment to alert drivers, reorient crosswalk, install flashing beacons, put numbers to that, so that the tribal council can say, we'd like to spend $2.5 million this way. It's just a report. I just wanted to leave this with you, and I have additional copies here that I can leave for. And Mr. Small said he'd be happy to come to a tribal council meeting if that would be helpful to, as would I, of course, to.
Yeah, and I believe, Chairman Ramirez, Mr. Garfield was working with you guys on this.
Correct.
And he just happened to have his day off today. And we were just chatting about that. He got him a long weekend. So. We will definitely give this to him.
Yeah. I have additional copies here, Your Honor.
I know he'll be happy to see that. Is there any more comments or concerns?
Like I said, the plan is still under development for the casino sports complex area, and how those 2 facilities and the fairgrounds would all interface together. So plan's still in works, but this is his interest, really wanting Ted's interest in TK wanting to see the actual concrete improvements or those improvements, but most importantly, and he would want, and he would, this needs to be what, out of this, what do you want to see done? And we're not gonna make those decisions, that needs to be the tribal council, and knowing you got $2.5 million for it.
Do you guys have I don't know, a draft of what your plan is with the sports complex, the casino, and As you just talked about?
There's been just a field survey that was done, field walk is what I would call it, and, so now is Fort Creek's putting together suggested options.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything?
The priority of this was to get the part done up here. That was a priority, so that was fast tracked. Application was done. Appreciate a lot of folks' support to make that happen. That was not an easy task, and it got there, and certainly disappointingly, like I said, if Tulare County was a rural county, you would have received $8 million. But we're not. So that being said, let's go back to phase one that was submitted, and what's at least a part of phase one that we can that they can support. But again, it's the one that's defined by the tribe.
Okay. Moving on to other matters. Do we have any other matters? No, you have any other matters?
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman.
How about any of the staff?
Sorry.
But good to connect with all of you again.
Nothing additional over that.
And the next meeting date is scheduled for December 16th, 2022. Everybody okay with that? Everybody's good with that at this time?
See.
If ever one of those Friday afternoon meetings, I guess.
Anyone interested in looking at a day other than Friday? I'll put it out there.
I think, how would Thursdays work after the relocation meeting? Usually, those are usually open for us, huh? What about for you guys? I know something, does that work for you guys? I know everybody, Fridays kind of, I mean, look, we have, Veterans Day this Friday.
Yeah, I think as long as we're not on an agenda Thursday, that's always. If we can schedule around that, so that would mean Thursdays that coincide, like the third Thursday of the month.
And that's what we have right now, is the third Friday of the month.
That's that works for me from a staff perspective. So.
Since we're reorganizing, might as well.
The president said.
If Thursday works for everybody, I know Friday is kind of hard, and there's a lot of times where everybody wants to get out of here and, get on with their weekend, so. But if Thursday works, I'm okay with Thursday.
Would that be like 3 o'clock? Is that still a good time?
Yeah, 3 to 5. So.
Mhm.
Do we need a motion on that, or is everybody just okay with?
We'll formalize it at the next meeting. We'll do a formalization since it's not on the agenda today, but we can do that. We can bring an item back just to formalize it. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and schedule your next meeting for that day.
It's brought to my attention that that is an agenda Thursday for us. So could we request the 8th?
Yeah. That would probably actually be better, when being, it is getting into the holidays also, so. So December 8th will be the next meeting, then we'll go from there.
There would be a conflict with the Eastern Thule GSA, I believe, for that meeting.
Of course there is. On the 8th? Well, and we can, and that also makes a difficulty for. Let me double check that real quick. Give me just a second.
Mike, is their meeting usually the
I have it for
second
the first.
Thursday of the month. Is that what it is?
It may be on the first. There was just a discussion about it being moved. I'm just gonna double check and make sure it didn't get recorded. Is that? If it's on the first, we're good. I'm just checking a couple notes real quick. Just a second.
Let's pencil in December 8th and then we'll.
It should be fine. It should be fine. I was just making sure that didn't conflict with the ETGSA. False alarm, John.
Well, with that being said, that is everything on the agenda. We moved through pretty quickly. You guys just spent over $7 million, but thank you. We definitely need the retention basin done. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
Also move. Also move.
Second.
We can just adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. You can do a voice vote on that one. Since you
Meeting
don't
will
really.
be adjourned at 4:05 p.m. Thank you guys. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Thanks.